SpaceX has gone extra miles to outsmart other space companies and also tremendously changed the concept of space travel. Their amazing strategies to knock down space shuttle challenges has reduced the overall cost of getting to outer space, reaching lower Earth orbit and entering other planetary bodies in a couple minutes. What is so significant about looking into space exploration is the cost of moving 1 kilogram mass of an object into space. And remember that space is a region fairer than the Earth's atmosphere. So every other budget will later be considered after estimating the cost of launching a kilogram mass into space. And this cost will be used to determine how much it will take to launch an entire spacecraft loaded with cargo or crewed members. Let's date back to when Space Shuttle was a dream come true, and it gradually gained popularity. Payload capacity of 27,500 kilograms was estimated to cost an average of $1.5 billion. And that's definitely a jaw-dropping sum compared to the cost of spacecraft shuttle in this century. Meaning, as at then, the Space Shuttle launched a kilogram weight of payload at $54,500. But SpaceX's Starship took over the space game and subsidized the cost of Space Shuttle up to the point it became a commercial business. Elon Musk has stated that the Starship will be able to carry a total payload capacity of 150 metric tons at an approximate cost of $2 million. And that is to say, the cost of launching 1 kilogram into space will be $13 per kilogram, a very low figure as compared to what we had before. And even though this cost is an estimate based on positive thinking and speculation on the side of Elon Musk, should the cost increase subsequently even by a multiple of 10, then cost will still be considerably cheap at $130. This is no way close to the cost of the Space Shuttle, especially compared to other competitive space companies like Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, and Sierra Nevada Corporation. This brings us to the big question like, how does SpaceX do it? How is a private space company able to depreciate the cost of space travel to almost a penny price difference compared to their rivals, and yet the Starship remains so cheap? That's what we are about to find out in this video. Hi, welcome to Space Tech. In this video, we'll open up every latest discoveries that now make SpaceX's Starship so cheap. Remember to like, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting content. Anybody that has to sit to think of traveling to space should also know that it's not a journey for someone that earns less than $10 million per year, and this is no joke. Now, a simple question for you. How would you spend $28 million if you get hold of such huge sums of money? Perhaps you wouldn't even want to lavish the cash traveling to space, but rather you'll want to invest in a business that will fetch you more millions per annum. But that is the same amount of money an unnamed individual offered as the highest bid to secure a seat on the New Shepard, Blue Origin's last suborbital launch rocket, alongside with Jeff Bezos during the company's last liftoff to space. How serious does that sound? Like something really freaky? Now, let's go back to our target idea. The single epic-looking tower-like spaceship is designed in a way to show the revolutionary difference between space travel of the 90s and that of this era. The Starship greatly cut down on the cost of taking humans as well as cargo into space, making it possible to move from one location on the Earth to another very fast, similar to the flash of a touchlight. It will also be used to bring humans to the lunar surface, and most importantly, land the very first crewed transport to the Martian surface. Now, to answer the question, why is SpaceX's Starship so cheap? To get the most of this question, we have to consider what makes up the rocket itself. The entire Starship structure consists of two major areas. First, the Super Heavy booster making up the lower part of the Starship, and the Starship spacecraft, which is stacked onto of the Super Heavy. The first stage, referred to as the Super Heavy booster, takes the Starship system into the Earth's orbit, utilizing a 37 Raptor engine that is powered by a mixture of supercooled liquid methane and liquid oxygen. When the Starship gets into the Earth's orbit, the booster will break off and separate itself from the Starship spacecraft, then return back to the Earth and land safely at the launch site, leaving the spacecraft to transport the payload, be it a crew or cargo, to their target destination. Elon Musk has stated that the entire Starship, both the Super Heavy booster and the spacecraft, will be fully reusable for many missions without any issues. So, reusability is the first strategy SpaceX employed to reduce the cost of the Starship to be cheap compared to a situation whereby one Starship will need to be manufactured, particularly for each flight. Another reason the Starship is so cheap is the type of material it is made of. The materials were chosen during the design process for favorable advantages like the stainless steel, which is the chief material. Stainless steel makes the construction process way faster and cheaper, since the cost of a kilogram of steel is just about $3 as compared to most rockets that are built with carbon fiber, costing about $200 per kilogram. The Starship is kind of really bogus, standing at 120 meters in height with diameter of around 9 meters and weighs roughly 500 tons. So this tells us a lot about how much money SpaceX saves by choosing stainless steel over carbon fiber. Another reason worth mentioning is the fuel propulsion system employed by SpaceX for the Starship. The choice of propellants mixture used to power the rocket is also a reason the Starship is so cheap. A mixture of liquid oxygen and methane is not a conventional rocket fuel, but the company decides for this option for all its amazing benefits. This mixture burns clean and fast, making it quicker to prepare the Starship for the next available flight, and also, it is a low-density mixture compared to most rocket fuels. The light weight of the fuel mixture gives more room for a higher payload capacity and also directly or indirectly affects the price of the Starship's flight cost. All this factors sums up the reason why SpaceX is able to reduce the total cost of traveling to space, making space exploration somewhat cheap and easier. SpaceX has also announced that its designs will enable point-to-point Earth-based transportation capable of taking people from one country to another in less than an hour. You might say that this is a lofty claim, but from what SpaceX has done so far, one could expect any surprising flight improvement from them. So let's hope to see this happen in a few decades. SpaceX follows a concept of simple engineering design and manufacturing approach to build and run some of the most complex machines in space transportation. This approach results in the building the cheapest rockets ever made, easing access to space and reconstructing the cash flow of the space launch market. This simplest concept ranged from smart business strategies to new rocket designs with better capabilities, like using iterative models to rapidly build and test different prototype versions of the Starship before converging on the final design. This model can identify and correct design defects in the development stages. Creating better rockets at a much more faster and effective production time will automatically decrease the production cost for a rocket. The issue of overcomplication is a huge factor affecting the cost of space transportation, making flights so expensive and the production time falling behind schedule. The priority of traditional aerospace has always centered on risk management. With space transportation, simplicity can be seen in every area of the Starship design, from manufacturing design to launch procedures down to the development process. The Starship is made simple by removing parts that the rocket can function without, combining similar parts and making use of modularity where possible. Concepts like employing rocket reusability, where the rocket that is designed are built only once, can be used over and over again sufficiently, and greatly shifts cost concerns from rocket manufacturing, which is complex and expensive, to the production demand of fuel. So using fuels like subcooled liquid methane and liquid oxygen, which can be readily produced and stored on the Starship itself, will be an easy solution for the return journey from Mars, where the production of fuels might be so difficult. Instead of improving on new spacesuits for protecting astronauts, SpaceX will rather go with simple racing cars, and instead of making new handles for hatches, they employ door hatches used on bathroom stalls for a price way lower than the cost of manufacturing hatch handles. Do you think cheap SpaceX rocket will contribute to increasing SpaceX monthly revenue? Please do well to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, please like, share, subscribe. And while you're still around, why don't you click on one of those amazing videos on the screen for more content?